We come to one of the highlights of each of these symposia, and that is our awarding of the Clients at the Center prize. So we started this a few years ago. Every year we choose one financial services company which is offering the services to poor people in an innovative way, but is doing it in a particularly client-centric way. So we have 3 finalists who have been selected from all of the entrants. They are waiting in the wings. They're going to come out here. I'm going to ask you to be empathetic because they're going to be standing up in front of you and trying to persuade you to give them the prize. I'm going to ask you as well to be tough because you're going to be giving away $150,000 of our money. So just keep that in mind as well. So let me welcome Mike Williams, who is an Associate Program Manager at the Foundation, and he will be leading the prize ceremony. Mike, come on.
Hello and thank you. It seems that local greetings are in order. I've only lived in Southern Africa, so Dumela Lang for our South African friends. How's it? And maybe a little Canadian flavor as well. What's this all about, eh? And so welcome all to the 3rd Clients at the Center prize. Following that great innovation-centric session, we're going to dive into some very real experiences driving digital innovation for financial inclusion with some extremely innovative organizations and companies. And who doesn't like a little healthy competition? In fact, it seems that our digital friends left a note up here, something about friendly wagers being only payable through Apple Pay, Alipay, M-Pay's, BitPay's, Stripe, Square, Paystack, ZPay, Orange Money, Tigo Cash, MTM, Peach, Zona, and World Remit. Another one that says no cash, digital. And also, before our pitchers come up to share their stories, I'll stress that everyone here plays a vital role in our session. You are the decision makers. And with that said, and I almost dislike saying this, please make sure that you have your less than innovative clickers at your table. And if you don't have one, please ensure to wave down an usher. Or I think there was mention of drones from that last group, so if you have some drones, feel free to send your clickers that way. This year, I was privileged to be a part of the team that organized the prize and, of course, got the opportunity to rigorously review every single application. Our team read through 88 applications this year from some very innovative organizations, companies, and individuals. I typically fancy myself an innovative young chap, and I'm sure you can tell since I have a fake flower on my jacket. But I'll admit that reading through these applications, I really owe all of the applicants this year a thank you for bringing me back to earth. They are truly the innovators of our world. Applications this year were largely drawn from countries across Africa. And in fact, over the 3 years of the prize, more than half have come from the continent. What's inspiring is that these applications we received are primarily focused on having a positive impact on low-income segments, whether it be their economics and financial standing, their education, their health, their sense of social belonging, but really all through financial inclusion-related modalities. In fact, I did a quick calculation, and for the evaluators in the room, don't hold me to any sort of rigor for this one, please. But the number impacted by these 88 groups that applied were well over 8 million people. In parallel to this, we've also seen great sector diversity. The prize has engaged fintechs, NGOs, public sector and private sector companies, financial institutions, social enterprises, and MFIs. We've had large institutions in the midst of transformation, and we had small firms looking to scale. Needless to say, it was quite a range of applications that we received, and this diversity to us speaks volumes. It truly reveals that, 1, clients matter, and they matter more and more as technology drives greater connection between client and firm. We see a systematic shift that institutions are placing greater importance for understanding the needs, behaviors, and the value proposition of and for their clients, and then really putting in the work to empower their clients to utilize the offerings in a meaningful way. Second, client-centered innovation is worth the investment. There's a willingness to develop ideas, prototype, learn, adapt, and then redevelop to make the business case work for institutions. And lastly, we're finding that client-centered innovation is not just a new product or a service to plug into another mix of them, but really client-centered innovation is a business model, it's an innovative process, it's a new client segment for that matter. It's really about creating the greatest experience and value for the customer as a core competency of your business. And to exemplify many of these points, I wanted to welcome the 2016 Clients at the Center Prize winner, Ahmed Kasim from HelloPesa. Ahmed, would you like to invite, I'd like to invite you to the stage for a quick chat. So Ahmed, last year when you pitched yourself, you had mentioned that you had 500 staff already, you had 5,000 outlets, you had remitted 200 billion rand, and you had 260,000 customers. What have you been up to in the last year?
Okay, Mike, so 2017 has been a year of further improvement. The team is now close on to 700 highly committed individuals. We remitted I wish it was 200 billion, but it was only 2 billion in 2016. 2017 is much better. We are on track for like a 200% increase. We should end the year with like 6 billion remitted. And the number of customers has also increased about 30%. We're closing on 400,000 customers now that use our services.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. And so I think everyone here is quite interested to know, what did it mean to win the Mastercard Foundation Clients at the Center Prize last year?
So at the Hello Group, we've been quite fortunate in the sense that we've won some prestigious awards from illustrious organizations like Swift and Ernst & Young Entrepreneurs of the Year. But I'm not saying that because I'm here, but I think the Mastercard one gives us the most pride because when you speak to the people in the know, they look up and they think, wow, you must have done something amazing. And also they think you must be a little bit clever. So that actually helps as well. So the credibility and the indirect introspection that this contest forced us to do in truly questioning, are we client-centric or not? And how can we even be more centric? And it's been an amazing achievement.
And I know people are always curious what happens with the prize. So can you tell us, what did you do with the prize?
Yeah, so we couldn't take the money and all go off to Bali. So what we did was a very, very intensive survey to the customers whose lives we have changed. Try to understand what were the experiences with regard to financial services. Were they included, were they excluded? What did they like, what did they dislike? What would they pay and what would they want for free? How are we going to add value to their lives? And the very important part is that we've taken all of the inputs and it now forms the foundation of all of our new products. So truly listening to the customers, we did do a very good job of that before last year. We're now doing an even better job around that and using all of their experiences, wants, needs, desires to build our products.
So you told me a little bit about this last night. What's the new and exciting stuff happening at HelloPesa?
So in the remittance world, it's been life-changing in the sense that customers no longer needed to use illegal channels, not know how much they were going to pay, and feel just humanized and welcome. We're following that up, and 2018 we hope will be even bigger than 2016 and 17. We're working with a partner bank in South Africa to launch a mobile digital banking product. So what that means is that the same individuals who were excluded from formal remittances are excluded by the big banks in South Africa. And no offense if there are any bankers here from South Africa, but it's not regulation that stops you from servicing these communities. It's risk, or they say it's risk, compliance, lack of profitability. I would dispute all of those assumptions. So we are working on including these individuals into the banking world. So I'd hope to tell you next year how many thousands of customers have now signed up and actually have a bank account where they can store their hard-earned cash. They've got a bank card that empowers them and hopefully some history and can offer them credit and insurance and stuff. But 2018's objective is to launch this bank effectively.
That sounds very exciting. I'm sure everybody would agree. I'd like to thank you for coming and joining us and sharing your story again.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay. Cheers.
So that's pretty exciting what's happened with HelloPesa, and to hear about just what they're doing with the prize. And speaking of the prize, I'd like to now welcome this year's 3 2017 Clients at the Center Prize finalists. I ask that you please hold your applause because it is very exciting until everyone has come out and they are seated. So please welcome Jorge Camus, co-founder of Destacame in Chile and Mexico. Vaibhav Lodha, he's a co-founder of FT Cash based in India. And Bushle Goslar, director of customer intelligence at Jumo based in South Africa, but operating in several countries. Also, as we head into the pitches, I want to introduce the great external team that we put together to help us narrow down our applicants from 88 to 3. I would ask again that everyone hold their applause until each judge is announced, and that the judges please stand and get the recognition that you do deserve. So please, Jake Kendall from Caribou Digital, Lisa Schrader from Mercy Corps, Pam Iser from UNCDF, John Wan from IDO, Hedwig Severstein from Agra, Anthony Koning from CGAP, and Juliette Monroe from FSD Africa. So let's give them a round, please. And so these judges scored the applicants this year with the following in mind. And I please ask that you pay particular attention because you'll be asked to also really make the same decisions on the following achievements when you vote after the pitches. One, the applicant's understanding of their client needs, behaviors, and their aspirations. How the applicant defines and measures client centricity, and how they respond to their findings and their learnings and their measurements. Is the solution of the applicant unique in their market? And do they show a really good understanding of their market itself? And finally, the long-term impact, viability, and scalability of the company and its initiative. So now, let's get on to the pitching, which is the exciting part of today. I will remind the speakers, please keep your pitches to 6 minutes. Please really make the case for your business model. And please don't be nervous. Just remember that some of the key leaders in financial inclusion are sitting in front of you to judge you. So let's please welcome our first pitcher, Jorge Camus from Destacame. Jorge?
Hi. Destacame is a free digital financial management platform that empowers people by giving them control of their financial data to improve their financial capabilities and gain access and improve their access to financial products. Let me introduce you Ricardo. Ricardo is from Chile. He's 45, has 2 kids, and he owns a small shop in Santiago, and he needs to improve that shop. He goes to a bank, and the loan is rejected because the bank says they don't have enough information of Ricardo. This is what happens to 70% of the population in Latin America and all over the world. And the root of this problem lies in between the asymmetries that exist between people and the financial institutions that prevent financial institutions to do correct credit assessments. That's why in Destacame, we put the person in the center of our business model. And it is the person who signs in Destacame freely and voluntarily, who gives us his consent, and we go to different data sources, such as telcos, utility companies, and credit bureau, gather his information and present it in an organized way, so the person can take control of his information. And now it's the person who decides what to do with his information. He could understand or track his financial health, or he can send his information to a financial institution. When the financial institution gets the information, they pay us a fee, but they have way more information and deeper understanding on that prospect client, so they can give more and better financial offers. When we began Destacame, we started by building up a credit score for those people who didn't have enough financial information. This score was built based on the payment behavior of people of their utility payments, such as water and electricity. And this score has shown to be awesome. We have been able to decrease 75% of the default rate of those who, according to Destacame, are good payers. But by listening our users and understanding their financial information, we understood that we could help other two groups. First, those that are rejected because they don't understand their financial health and don't have enough financial education. And second, those that we call debankerized because they have been pulled out of the financial system because they either have or had a past due debt. For the first group, we're giving for free their financial report so they can understand their financial health and moreover, understand how the financial system sees them and do whatever they need to do to improve that information. Also, we have built several financial education tools in the platform so the people can now understand better when they are applying for a credit. For the second group, we built a model where they receive special offers so they can pay at a great discount their past due debt as a first step to be rebankerized. With this group, we went a step further, and by partnering up with a financial institution, we are granting microcredit that we like to call rebankerization credit, so people can start rebuilding their financial history so they can demonstrate bank that they have solved their problem and are ready to return to the financial system. This is the power that can be done when people take control of their data. And that is the most important thing in the Stagame. And the market has responded greatly to this. In only 18 months, we have been able to, more than 500,000 people have signed in the Stagame, in both Chile and Mexico, where we have operation. 300,000 people visit the platform every month. More than 40,000 credit applications have been made, and more than $20 million has been collected in past due debt. But these numbers are important only because they demonstrate that the Stagame has a valid and a sustainable business model that allow us to scale in the future. Imagine that just in Mexico, where I live, more than 60 million people are unbanked. So if we are able to help in one country, in a short term, 6 million people, imagine what we can do. A few years ago, when I was studying at MIT with my co-founder, we dreamed of a world where financial exclusion is ended. We have demonstrated that by giving the power to the people to manage their information, this can be done. With your support and the Mastercard Foundation Prize, we will be able to help more than 300,000 people to learn more about their financial health and make the first step to be bankerized. And we dream with a world where everybody, as Ricardo, get the credit that they deserve. Thank you very much.
That was great. Thank you so much, Jorge. And now I'm going to introduce Vaibhav Lodha from FT Cash.
My name is Vaibhav, and I'm the co-founder of FT Cash. And today I'd like to introduce you to Pankaj, who's my newspaper vendor from Mumbai. Now, Pankaj has been delivering newspapers for the last 35 years in the local neighborhood to over 400 apartments in the area. And he starts his work at 4 o'clock in the morning and ends at about 8:30. After that work, he actually does menial jobs to make his ends meet. Like in 2014, he actually came to me on every Sunday morning to collect his dues for his newspaper. And my immediate reaction every time I see him on Sunday morning used to be, Pankaj, please come later. I don't have the cash at home. I'll withdraw it from ATM today and I'll give it to you tomorrow. And I delayed the payment for almost 5 months. So typically delayed payments has not been a concern for Pankaj in general, but this time it was. He seemed concerned. So I asked him what happened. And the reason then he started telling me was that one, that he has a lot of dues and debts in his EMIs. He has an EMI of his bike which is pending, of his rent that he has not paid. He also has multiple suppliers that he is supposed to pay to who is not paid. And moreover, just last week his daughter fell ill. And because of that, there's just 2 days back when she coughed blood, they had to take her to the doctor, and turns out she had tuberculosis. And because of that, it became a problem for him because all the working capital money that he was using for his business ended up going in her treatment. Pankaj ended up going to a money lender, but the money lenders had no cash turned him down, saying that we're going to charge him 40 to 50% interest rates in India. And he was just not able to pay that because that is really high margins for his business to be able to afford that. So that's when I immediately felt devastated. I went to the ATM, withdrew the money and gave him the extra cash. But this is something I was discussing with my co-founders, and we realized that we have all faced these issues in the past, and we have met multiple Pankajas in our life, but we have not really solved their problems. What can we do about it? So we started researching on this subject, and we figured that actually this is a much bigger problem, especially where I come from in India. There are 60+ million micro merchants in the country, and the number of people or merchants who actually have access to digital payments and credit is less than 4%, which effectively means that it's a much graver problem. So when we researched more, we figured every hour there is a death that happens in the country for someone who's not able to pay his loans or is stressed because of loan, and these are suicides. So eventually we said that, okay, let's prepare a product accordingly, and let's figure why are these loans not being able to given out. So the 3 reasons why these loans are not given out is, 1, because the origination cost of these loans is very expensive, and at the same time, servicing is very expensive as well. The second reason is that in most of these loans, banks and financial institutions find it very difficult to do credit analysis on these merchants on the go. And the recollection on these merchants is also very difficult because they have to pay it on a monthly basis, and these merchants are not very financially prudent to be able to give these loans on time. So that's why we created FTCash as a platform. FTCash works on a simple payment and a loan solutions together. We give out a payment solution which works from software to hardware. It's an all-inclusive payment solution. It has all options of credit cards, debit card, mobile wallets, everything integrated in one platform itself. It comes free of cost without any upfront cost or monthly rentals to merchants, and it works on QR codes to mobile applications as a single unit. So merchants can sign up fairly quickly with us in less than 5 minutes, and they're able to accept digital payments immediately with us. At the same time, we have an automated data-controlled lending platform that works with these merchants who are on our payments platform as well. And these are non-secured loans that are given, which have flexible repayment options. Now, the funny part about this entire system is that we work in payments and loans together in such a way that the digital loans that we give out have a proprietary algorithm in the backend, which works on the transaction history of these merchants, which has the SMS data, the location data, the call records of these merchants that we track, and we even do a psychometric analysis to understand the intent of the merchant to pay back the loan. The reason why we are better than most lending systems that work is because the origination cost for these loans is much cheaper for us because the merchant is already on our payments platform. The KYC and the digitization of the underwriting help us to make the servicing of these loans also cheaper. And lastly, the recollection of these loans on our payments platform make it even lower cost for us in the overall sense. We have been doing this in Mumbai and India now for the last 2.5 years. We've gone to about 25,000 plus merchants that we've been servicing. We are doing it in more than 150 cities in India. We have a delinquency ratio of less than 2%, and we have a payments platform that is processing over $80 million US on a yearly basis right now. We grew over 100x in the last 18 months. We were incubated by PayPal, and we were supported by the Global Start Path program. Forbes actually rated us as one of the fastest growing financial inclusion companies in India. And we are here so that if we are able to win this prize, we can actually use that money to go to some of the remotest parts of the country. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vaibhav. And for our final presenter, Bushle Goslar from Jumo.
Thank you, Mike. So I'm really hoping today, if the clock allows, to share with you what I think have been really 4 critical drivers in the journey that Jumo has been on toward customer centricity. And I think it's been a really interesting journey because essentially you're wanting to put the customer at the center of a business that is primarily a technology business. So one of my favorite quotes is this: "The purpose of a system is what it does." And that comes from Stafford Beer. And what I like about it is that, you know, when I enter a situation like the situation that all of us work in now, and we see that people are being excluded, it means that fundamentally that is the purpose of that system. And I think what's been exciting for us at Juma is to be able to come and become part of this community that's in this room that is really building a new system and make our contribution with what we are good at. So what have we done? So Juma is a multi-sided technology platform, and we have looked at the problem and said, you know, I talk to people like Calvin, who is a truck driver in Zambia. He does commutes between Lusaka and Ndola Kitwe. And one of the things that he really worries about is providing for his family is one, while he's away if there are any emergencies. And the other thing is really, you know, if an opportunity presents itself, how does he get funding? You know, he will say things to me like, I'd say to him, well, why can't you borrow from friends and family? It's cheaper. And he says, but they have the same problems I have, right? And the other thing is, you know, if his children are sick while he's on the road, you know, emergencies don't keep banking hours. And those are some of the things that we try and solve on our platform, where essentially people are able to borrow and save real time, anytime. So as I said, we're a multi-sided platform, and what we've done is we've said, we will go to the people who are the holders of data, of the people that are essentially invisible. And the biggest holders of data are mobile network operators. And we will also go to the people who are the holders of the cheapest sources of capital, which are the banks. And we will bring these together and deliver products to customers at a really low cost. So what's a really low cost? So we're currently able to service a customer for 95 cents a year, which is really low. A lot of people have said to us, but you know, can this model work? And what we've seen is that this model is working because we have been able, since we issued our first mobile loan in 2014, to reach over 20 million customers, which for us, to issue over 20 million loans, which for us is a great vote. We've reached over 5 million customers. We're operating in 6 African markets, and we've just launched in Pakistan. So we think that we're really making progress there. The second thing that we're doing is that we design for the lives that customers really live. You know, so we have made sure, for instance, that our first generation products are USSD based because it's allowed us to reach more customers. We've also made sure that when we build our credit models, that we don't just focus on credit scoring, that we look at other issues. So one of the issues that we found is that a lot of customers really struggle with their variability and unpredictability of income, you know, and what we've done is we've actually started to build models that allow us to be able to get to those customers using better affordability assessment, give them bigger loans, but also to structure our product in a way that allows them to repay these loans over flexible terms, because that's what customers really want, and that's what we've delivered in our second generation products. The third thing that we've really learned is that it is critical that we are very intentional, right, in how we look for impact. And we really look to impact our customers at an individual level. So not just impacting them in the sense that we know that of the customers that we reach, 30% of them report earning under $2 a day. We know that for 80% of them, it's their first access to formal financial services. But we've asked ourselves, what else? And we've actually started doing two-way USSD surveys. We've talked to over 10,000 customers over the past year, getting free text, verbatim feedback from them about how they are experiencing our products. We've taken what they've said to us and we've pulled that in to what we're doing in credit risk, to what we're doing in product design, and that is really what's informing how we go forward. So what am I saying here? We're building an engine that allows us to consume customer insights, whether it's what they do on the USSD menu or what they say to us directly. And we're blending the transactional data, which is also feedback, and the actual voice feedback that they give to us. And what's been amazing is that the whole company has really come behind this initiative, and it makes it so much easier to prioritize projects because everyone can see that this is what the customer is saying. The last thing I really want to talk about that has been incredibly powerful for us in this journey has been collaboration and partnership. So what do I mean by that? clearly, we're a technology business. There are many skills that, even though I am fortunate enough to have been tasked to build this team within the business, there are many skills we just don't have. So what we've done is we've leveraged a lot of what really exists within this ecosystem, collaborating with people, whether it's CGAP, Smart Campaign, and we leverage really those skills and we bring them into our business and we make changes. So last year, we actually did a SMART assessment, and out of that, it was a diagnostic assessment. We identified areas which were weak spots for us, and what we did is we then built a set of customer operating principles which we use to engage with our partners so that there's accountability across the value chain, and we make sure that even though there's shared accountability, the customer stays at the center. So I hope that you will choose to vote for us today, and we would put the prize money basically towards more insight research in the MSME communities, because 2 in 3 of our customers are MSMEs, and if we really want to help them build sustainable livelihoods, it is linked obviously to helping small businesses thrive. And that's all I have to say because there's a red clock beeping at me. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm very happy that I don't have to make the decision and that it's all up to you to make this decision. So now we are going to move on to the time to vote. So I just want to remind you to make your decisions based on really 4 key themes. So who shows a clear understanding of the client's needs, behaviors, and their aspirations? Who can you tell that defines, measures client centricity, and responds to their findings? Who understands and is unique in their market? And finally, who has the potential for long-term impact and scale? So please get your clickers ready, those innovative clickers of yours. And please, we're going to start voting now. You'll have about 30 to 45 seconds. Can we open the voting, please, according to our slides here? 1 Destekame, 2 FT Cash, and 3 Jumo. Okay, can we please close the voting, but do not reveal, please. Do not reveal. So before we do reveal, I'd like to welcome Ann Miles, the Director of Financial Inclusion at the Mastercard Foundation, to the stage to reveal and announce the winner of this year's 2017 Clients at the Center Prize. Ann, please join us.
I have to admit, I almost get more nervous at this point during the day than any other time. So I'm sorry, but I do. Nervous for you. Oh, are the results?
You get to cut the thread. So Bruce, you want to come over here?
Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, do as, always.
Oh, yeah, it's just,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's something my mother-in-law taught me.
So we'd also like to acknowledge, obviously, the 2 other applicants. So please, Jorge, and please, Vaibhav. Let's give them a round of applause.
Thank you very much. Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, and that brings us to the end of the Clients at the Center Prize. I'd like to welcome Roger back on stage to close us out for the day. And we're going to go this way.